Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Travis, and today we're back working on the 650 horsepower Cummins swapped REO big rig, the REO Speedwagon. This is a 12 valve P-pump Cummins swapped truck. I turned the engine into a 650 horsepower 12 valve. I beefed up the transmission to handle 600 horse. I've gone through multiple videos fitting the body onto this frame, working through all kinds of little kinks and doodads. I just got the intercooler piped up, so we have it running from the turbo. I got my air cleaner, I got my intercooler pipes, intercooler mounted up all the way to the intake, so that is now done. What I've been really worried about, what I've been fretting over is the bed. I have not been able to find a bed, and I can't move much further until I have a bed, because I know I'm gonna have to shorten the frame quite a bit because this length is way too long. I don't want to put something crazy heavy on it like a 10-foot flatbed or something like that, because remember, I am trying to go fast for the duct tape drags. I'm actually trying to compete and do something. I'm not saying I'm gonna win, but I do want to try, and I don't want to put extra weight on here for no reason. So the good news is I did finally get a bed. I went up to Desert Valley Auto Parts in Casa Grande and I looked through like hundreds of trucks. I finally found this bed that I feel like is good for us, something we can use, something that's not too tore up. It's good and long, but not long enough to not shorten the frame, because this bed is about 100 inches, actually about exactly 100 inches. You're not going to find a bed of that era much longer than this unless you go with big trucks with huge flatbeds and all that other stuff that I'm trying to avoid. This bed is off, I don't know, a late 50s, early 60s Chevy truck, long bed, step side, and it's in pretty good shape. I mean, it's straight, it's pretty rust free. Somebody replaced the header panel with a piece of plywood, which is fine because I think we're going to put the radiator right here. That's going to be our header panel, is the radiator, I think. Let's see, looks good. I mean, it's pretty, you know, I don't need something nice for this. I just wanted something complete. This may be a little bit nicer than I even bargained for. It's not rotted out or anything. No tailgate, which is fine because, I don't know, I wouldn't want to have a Chevy tailgate on this anyway because it's not a Chevy. And so I'd rather just not have a tailgate with no branding. And I know it's white and the truck is black. We're gonna have to do something, probably, I don't know, spray paint it semi-gloss black and maybe try and mimic some of the red that's on the Rio, I don't know. But I think this is our guy. Did some measurements. I think it'll look good on there. I think it'll fit. So we'll deal with that in a little while, but right now we have to get the truck prepped for that bed. We're gonna get Jerry over here tomorrow, who's a good friend of Dad and mine's, and he's been helping along with this build, and he's a good fabricator, a good customizer. He's got a good mind for, you know, things that aren't supposed to be and making them happen. And what I have to do to prep for him to come over tomorrow, because he's gonna help try and shorten this, I got to get the radiator core support off, which shouldn't be too hard. It's just 2 bolts. I got to get all this junk off the back. I have to get the fuel tank off of it because once we shorten this, our straps are not going to be in the right places, and I may do like a 10-gallon fuel cell type of thing. I mean, this gas tank, guys, is humongous. If you actually drive a second-gen Cummins and it's close to empty and you fill it, it's like 26 to 28 gallons. It's a ginormous tank. It really is big. They like blow molded this thing to fit all the crevices of the frame or something. It's plastic. It's huge. It's so big. So I think there's still a lot of fuel in this. So I got to drain the fuel out so where it's not so heavy, undo the lines, take it down out of there, get all this crap out of the way, and get these wires out of here so that we can just have a blank slate to grind and cut on this without 20 gallons of diesel sitting there ready to blow up. And also, because we're shortening the frame, I'm going to have to do something about a drive shaft. That's why I been worried about doing all this, because, you know, when you're going to have to do custom coolant lines from the back to the front and you're going to have a custom drive shaft made, that stuff doesn't take overnight. And the closer I get to duct tape drags, which is in about a month, a little more than a month, you can't just force a guy to make you a drive shaft overnight. I mean, who the heck are you to him? You can't put yourself to the front of the line. You have to deal with him on his schedule and, you know, hope that he gets it done. So the quicker I can do my job, the quicker I can get everybody else in line, I don't know, to get this done. One thing I was thinking on the radiator coolant pipes that gonna go from the back to the front is we have a lot of area here. We have some bends and kinks to get all the way up to the front of the engine. And my thought was that, you know, when I take this to the exhaust shop, because they're gonna have to put a 4-inch pipe from the bottom of the truck to the stack we're putting on the back. I'm getting a down pipe that goes from the turbo to the bottom of the truck, but I'm not going to have anything from the bottom of the truck to the stack. So I'm going to have somebody make up a 4-inch pipe or something. But the coolant lines are 1 3/4 inches, and that's about the size of an exhaust pipe. So I was thinking, why don't they just make me up some pipes that go from the radiator up to the front of the engine that fit, and then I can just, you know, hook hoses to it and run water through the pipes instead of exhaust. That was my thought. These are my window regulator cover panels that I'm gonna probably keep. This is a bunch of junk wiring that my dad had. That's not actually junk, really, if you think about it, because this is some of the wiring I used to wire up this truck, which we're not 100% done with wiring yet, but this stuff has came in very, very handy. We'll get this out of here. These are my steps for the side of the cab to step in to the cab, which I have not installed, which I really should. I will. All this gobbledygook, the wires. All right, let's take the radiator core support off, and then we'll drain the gas tank, and we'll also take off this carrier bearing. We'll get the second piece of this drive shaft out of here. Now we're going to take these fuel lines off and drain this tank. I cannot believe, as dry rotted as these lines are, that they're not aerating and causing the engine to run bad, because these lines are totally trashed. And we're going to be shortening the lines probably anyway, and we're going to put new rubbers on it no matter what. So oops. Okay, so what, this isn't gonna work. There we go. So we'll just go ahead and let this drain out, see how much we get. I think it's pretty full. Just finished draining out all the diesel. I had to get out every single jug I had, filled them all up, put 5 gallons in my truck, put 5 gallons in the tractor, put 5 gallons in Dad's Volkswagen. So there was 25 gallons in this thing. I finally just got to the end of it. This thing was full. Can you imagine undoing both of those clamps, and the weight of that gas tank and 25 gallons of diesel comes down on you? That's like 350, 400 pounds. I mean, you're not moving that thing. Once it gets loose, it's loose, buddy. Now we can take it out and actually handle this thing. Yeah, because I need them.
As far as I know, I didn't need any for this truck.
I don't have any lug nuts. I only have 2 for each wheel. Whoever did this was intelligent. I don't think this is factory. Somebody was smart enough to put rubber plugs over the threads of the studs that hold the straps in for the gas tank. That was mighty smart. Because if you live in the, well, the Rust Belt or anywhere, any long threads that are exposed get immediately rusted. When you have a thread like that with a nut on it, it takes forever to get a nut or something off, and it's just a nightmare trying to work against those rusted threads. So the fact they put plugs on those threads, that was mighty intelligent.
Basically, you'll probably, after you do it tomorrow, you'll probably want to bring that bed in here and set it on here.
Yeah.
And get a rough idea, to get a total verification.
Yeah, it's empty. Oh yeah. So I got the back of the frame all cleared. I have some tools out here that we're going to use to turn this into a shorter frame. But first I want to talk about the sponsor of today's video, and that's Chippewa Boots. Chippewa has been making boots since 1901. That's over 100 years. They have an awesome reputation for durability, comfort, and timeless style. These are the exact kind of boots we like to wear because Dad and I like the pull-up style boots, and on top of that they have super hardened safety toes which meet all ASTM standards. Every single pair of Chippewa boots is designed with the best safety and comfort technologies out there. They're made to handle the toughest environments without compromising on comfort, and I gotta say, the boots are very, very comfortable. The soles are comfortable. I just love the boot.
Easy to get on and off.
Lace up takes forever to get on and off.
Oh, I love the color.
It's just got that timeless look, you know. I mean, we've been wearing the same looking pair of boots for what?
All my life.
Yeah, forever. And just like us, Chippewa Boots is not about trends. They're about dependable gear that works as hard as you do, and I appreciate that about them. And right now you can get 20% off of all of Chippewa's regularly priced boots by going to Chippewa.com and using my code Travis20 at checkout. This offer ends September 30th at midnight, and it excludes all sale items. So make sure to get yourself a pair of super high quality, super comfortable, and ultra durable boots. Again, by using my code Travis20 at checkout. Go to Chippewa.com and shop their boots right now. But anyway, let's get back to working on this Rio.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we have Jerry back over here, and he's going to help us try and shorten this frame. And we've done a few things to prep for cutting it. One of them is getting the frame level. So we had to jack the front of it up and put it on these adjustable jack stands. The point of that is to get this part of the frame completely flat, because with the tires on it and it sat down, actually this sits at an angle this way just a little bit. So this has to be totally flush, totally flat. We did that, and we need to cut 29 inches out of the frame to get the bed to basically match up. So for the bed to end 2 inches behind the cab, and for the wheels to sit in the middle of the wheel wells, 29 inches has to come off. The only way you're going to get that is right here. You can't do anything up there because that's where your cab is. And then this bend is right here. And then you have a good 30 inches of straight frame until it curves up, and then you have your spring perches and all that stuff. So right here is where that 29 inches is going to have to come out. Cut it there, and then cut it right there to get it out. But to make the cut, these are going to have to come off. These are the original 2nd gen bed perches, in order, because the cut is going to have to go right behind that. So I got to get my plasma out, start cutting. All right.
Our weld's gonna be like right down the middle of this,
Uh-huh.
and if not, maybe to that edge. We can fluff that up with the fluffy disc.
Jerry cut out these legs from the square rectangle tubing we had, and we're going to tack it to the frame so that the frame can't fall once we cut it. It'll hold it steady.
Probably put a pretty good weld on it. I don't think tacking it's gonna do a pretty good weld on both sides.
Okay.
Because we can come in here with a cut-off wheel and
Just cut it off.
and then fluff it.
All right.
Do all of this stuff. Unless you see it. Think you got the chassis good?
I think so.
Stay in there, don't move around so much. And these want to stay as square as we can make them. Give us our square. That's why it moved. Remember me telling you that it was probably heavier on the back side than it was on the front side?
Well, it is, I guess.
We should have put a jack
put a
on
peg
the
in
back.
the back.
Ay.
Try and push it forward.
We can try. There we go. Okay. You steer, we'll drive. What? What?
Dude, it's like butter.
What?
It's crazy. Dude, that looks great. It meets right up.
It's gonna be money. The bottom lines up and it's just.
It's like butter, man.
It looks like it was made that way. If you didn't know it right now, because it's not welded.
Otherwise, you wouldn't
know it's even cut.
No. So I'm about to preliminarily weld this, and what we're gonna do, so I'm gonna burn the top end a little bit, and then we'll get on the bottom with a jack it up, and that'll close the gap, and then we'll weld it.
Don't weld the screwdriver in. It looks good.
So Jerry and Dad are taking the wood out of this bed, and I got the generator up here to blast it with 220. I have 220 at the wall, but my welder won't reach far enough, so I had to get the generator out so I could get back here. The frame shortening is officially completed. Cut it, shortened it, welded it, put these plates on, welded them right here where the weld is down the middle to strengthen it some more, and I'm very happy with it. Oh, we even kept this bar. This is where we made the cut, and then we welded it to the back half of the frame. This came out sweet. Super happy about it. The only thing we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to heavily modify the bed, actual bed of the bed, because I took some pictures of it. We put it on there preliminarily yesterday before we even shortened the frame, and the bed sits so high over the wheels, it just looks goofy. So we're gonna have to figure out a way to get the bed higher to get the bed sides to sit lower. The back of this sits higher than the front. It's got this tilt this way, and what I want to do, I want to level this out. You know, I want the whole truck to sit level. I don't want the back to sit higher and just go down to the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these shackles off. I'm going to take all the leaf springs out except for the top two right here. Hopefully that'll lower it some.
We don't know how far down that's gonna set. So we'll see.
Shaved a lot of weight too.
How much weight?
I don't know, those leaf springs are heavy, man. Really heavy. Probably, those leaf springs probably weigh 40 pounds. See how close we are. Well, a little less than 7.5. Oh wow. So right now I'm going to try and center this differential, and I'm going to use these wheel dollies I got off of Facebook. We'll put them under the tire, be able to roll the rear end this way easier. So I think I'm ready to buzz the rear end spring perches on this. So we got it dead nuts left to right, and then once you get it left to right, you got to get the pinion angle, because that matters. It's up and down, right? So there's all sorts of science behind this, and people tell you different things, but a general rule of thumb is you get your angle finder. There's a lot of them that are digital these days, but we still use the OG. You know, it's just you put it on a flat surface, tells you your angle, and you put it on the transmission, and whatever the transmission is, you do the opposite for the rear end. So there's not a lot. It's not usually a lot. It's not going to be like 15 degrees or 8 degrees. The transmission is usually about 3 degrees down, because you notice when an engine is in a vehicle, it's usually pointed down. It's not usually flat, like directly flat. So when I put this on the transmission, it was about at 4 degrees, 3 degrees. If the transmission is 3 degrees down, we want the differential 3 degrees up to match the plane of the transmission. And typically, they're usually at 3 degrees anyway. Generally speaking, most differentials are 3 degrees. Yeah, I went and measured on that. I put the angle finder on that Cummins. It was 4 degrees. My GMC is 3 degrees. You know, most things are about 3 degrees. That's the general rule of thumb. So I have this set at 3 degrees right now, and
we're 300,000 miles like that. So.
Yeah, it went 300,000 miles at 3-4 degrees. We'll go ahead and tack these in with 110, and then buzz them in permanent with 220, and then we'll have our correctly sat rear end. It's sat directly in the middle, pointed up at the right angle. So right now I'm at Tucson Driveline and Balance. If you ever need a drive shaft made for your car and you're around this area, I would recommend them. Really nice guy that's in there. You know, it's kind of a cool building and a neat story. The gentleman that runs this, his dad actually built this building in the 1970s to do drive lines, and then he took over the business, the gentleman that runs it now. So they've been doing drive lines here for like 50 years. Pretty cool. I like these old, you know, mom and pop businesses. I like their sign. I asked him if that was original to the building, and he said yes. And that all of those squares, they used to be yellow, but a hailstorm came and destroyed them. So the bottom two are original, but those 4 they had to replace, and all they had was white. But you can see over here, whatever that said, the hailstorm, something knocked it out, but that's the same type of signage. So they just got the drive shaft done. They made me a single piece drive shaft, which I wanted. I wanted to get rid of the carrier bearing. 55 1/4 is what this is, and if I measured right, it should fit right in there. This is a 3.5 inch tube, which should hold up to what I'm putting out. He said it should hold up, so. That is not right at all. Yoke is barely sitting in the tail shaft of the transmission. It should be like way up here. It fits the diff, but this is a problem. Yeah, the drive line is barely catching in the splines, not nearly enough to, you know, it's just you can't do it. It should be up to about here on the splines. So my measurement from center to center on the U-joints was 55 1/4, and this one is 52 1/4. So this needs to be 3 inches longer. And I called him about it, and he said that he must have made a mistake and to bring it back. So, yeah, it's just got to be longer. Okay, so I just got back from Tucson Driveline and Balance. They made me up another drive shaft, and I measured it, and it was 55 1/4. So, second time's the charm. That's about what you want, just a little bit sticking out. The majority of the splines on the drive shaft on the splines of the output shaft, and it's enough where when the vehicle flexes and the frame flexes and goes up and down, the shaft can slip back and forth on those splines without bottoming out or coming completely out. And it looks like our U-joint fits in the yoke of the differential, so we should be able to put our straps on. Yeah, and I'm not here to hate on Tucson Driveline. People make mistakes. It was 3 inches too short, and he didn't, you know, when I called him about it, he didn't try to say, well, somehow it's your fault. You measured wrong. Like, he was cool about it. He made me up another one, obviously no charge, and, you know, took accountability. That, you know, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, you know. It was an honest mistake, and he made it right. No big deal, you know. Water under the bridge. I thread tapped the holes on this yoke, and I tapped the bolts for the strap. For some reason, these bolts went in these holes really tough. I mean, just almost like it was cross-threaded, and I know it wasn't. So I had to hit him with the tap, and that made it a lot better. When he made this, I asked him to put greasable U-joints in. I hate it when they make drive shafts that are sealed U-joints. That just aggravates me. So why wouldn't you make all, if you have the capability to, why not make all of them greasable? I mean, sometimes they need to be greased. That grease gets hard in there, and then it just exacerbates the failure of the U-joint. Should be good to go. Yeah, it's in. Yeah! Looks nice, fits perfect. I'm super happy. That's one step closer to being drivable. We got a shifter, so we can shift the transmission. We got a drive shaft, so we can drive the truck. We got gauges, so we can read everything. The only thing we don't have is brakes and a bed. If we had those two things, oh, and a cooling system, we could drive it. So close. While I'm on the subject of drive shafts, it sort of reminds me of a story when we were building my GMC. These trucks originally had carrier bearings. When we built mine, we got rid of that and we wanted a single piece drive shaft. But if you notice, this drive shaft is like really long. This drive shaft is actually a little bit longer than they recommend making a single piece drive shaft without using a carrier bearing. I can't remember if it's like 60 or 62 inches or something like that. If it's over that length, they don't want to make it, and they want you to use a carrier bearing and make a two-piece drive shaft. But the reason that they made this for us is because my dad was like, look, we're not using this for racing. This isn't high horsepower. It's just a daily driver. And they said, well, as long as you're not putting high horsepower to it, we'll make it. So they made it, but its drive shafts are not supposed to be as long as the one on this truck, single pieces. But yeah, well, we got it made, and it's always worked. As a drive shaft gets longer, it gets weaker. The shorter it is, the more rigid it is, the harder it is to twist it. The longer it is, the harder it is to keep it from flexing. So, but this truck is it's a 305 small block Chevy with, I don't even know, I mean, it's 200 horsepower, 250 horsepower. I mean, it's not making a lot of power or torque. It's just a stock rebuild. But in other news, I never did finish welding in these spring perches. I just tacked them in, and I was going to turn the truck around, but you know, I really need to make an extension cord for this welder because I'm always needing to roll it around places. And the cord they have on the back of this thing is like 5 feet, and the hose isn't even that long. So I don't want to have to turn my projects around and move everything every time I want to weld something with 220. So I got a 25-foot big old fat nasty extension cord, and I'm going to put these plugs on it so that I can just make a big old extension cord. All right, well, we got our big old fat 220 extension cord wired up, 25 feet. Got it plugged into the welder. Now I can roll it around anywhere back here, and it's not a problem anymore. That was my big issue, man. I couldn't get this welder anywhere. So we're looking really good on the back of this so far. We have the drive shaft in, we have the leaf spring pads welded onto the rear end, but also I want to give you guys an update on a previous video truck. This is maybe 2 videos back. This is a 79 GMC that hadn't ran for 20 some odd years that we pulled out from under a tree, and we did a will it run and drive video on it. And Dad's been working on it since the video ended, just fixing more things and straightening more things out that weren't working. Just wanted to give you guys an update on what he's done. So one thing he's done is he put these on here to make the door shut better. So what these are, this is 1/2-inch PEX pipe, because what happens is these doors, they get worn, and then when they shut, they wiggle and they make a lot of noise, and they're not tight when they shut. So putting that PEX pipe over that peg makes it to where it shuts nice and solid, and the door doesn't move around. We couldn't even see the gauges. We couldn't even read them. So Dad took the plastics off and then used one of those headlight repair kits to sand the gauges. Now you can actually see the gauges. Dad fixed the oil pressure gauge. The wire for that was hanging down somewhere under by the transmission. Put a new oil pressure sending unit on it.
Fixed glove box.
Oh yeah, Dad fixed the glove box. Fix that.
Actually put the window back in it.
Oh yeah, when we first got the truck, we noticed that the window was hanging down inside the truck. The window regulator was apart, and it was a total nightmare getting that thing working again. But Dad got the window regulator bolted back in it, got the window set back in the track, so now the window actually goes up and down.
And then, as you guys know, we always think Arizona, this is an Arizona truck, but it's set with that window down, and rain got in and kept soaking on that carpet and got that floor.
Yeah.
I cleaned it out so I could see. I'll probably fix it.
Yeah, people think Arizona trucks never have any rust on them, and a lot of the times that's kind of true. We do get lucky a lot with no rust. But what happens is, instead of rusting from the bottom up, sometimes our stuff rusts from the top down. Like on the carpet, you get a truck that has a pocket somewhere in the cab where there's like a cup, like on a cab corner, and dirt gets in there. We have dust. Dust will get in there, and then it'll get wet, and then that basically turns into mud that holds water against the metal for way longer than it should, and it rusts out. And then the carpet, if the carpet gets wet, the carpet stays wet and just holds the water on the top of the floor, and it rusts from the top down, not the bottom up. Dad put all 4 rims and tires on it. We had a bunch of mismatched rims and a pink rim and 2 pink rims, I think. So these are the original rims that the truck came with when we got it, not original like factory original, but they're period correct aftermarket rims, I guess you could say. And so Dad got tires for them, put all 4 matching tires on them, so the truck looks better. Looks a lot better. I mean, this is a pretty sought after truck. It's a 79 square body GMC short bed. And people want these short beds so bad, they'll take a long bed and they'll cut the frame, cut the bed, make it a short bed. But this is a factory short bed Jimmy. Runs great. Runs
really good. It was a factory 6-cylinder.
Yeah.
That's part of the problem, or not part of the problem, but I'm glad it's got the V8 in it, but it originally came out of the factory with a 6-cylinder. I have got more parts. I got brakes, and it needs rear brakes.
Runs good.
Runs really good.
Gets all the gears. It's a good old truck. Real good work truck now.
I think this radiator, I don't think this radiator is right for this truck. I bet you this is the 6-cylinder radiator, because I bought the fan shroud, the proper fan shroud that goes on it, and it's too tall. So I'm saying that this radiator was for the 6-cylinder, and it's probably got another bracket. This probably, I'm sure it's different. It runs a little better all the time because that gas that was in the tank it stunk. It was rotten. I mean, but it only had about, maybe about that much in the bottom, so it wasn't really enough to do any damage, because we know better than to run that gas in them.
The goal with this truck today is to get this brake line fished in, cut this, flare it, get it hooked up to that, get both ends of these hooked up to the T here so that we could bleed the brakes and actually make our brakes work. I also need to cut and move this shock mount, because the way this rear end is designed, both of the shock mounts are towards the front, as if both shocks were like that. But we have a rear facing and a front facing. So what's easier, moving this shock over here or taking those 2 tabs, cutting them and welding them more towards the back? Well, cutting those and moving those. So I'd like to get my shocks hooked up today. If we can get the brakes and the shocks situated, then we could set the bed on just to see what it looks like. We got, well, Dad and Jerry got all the middle pieces, the side rails took out that go across. I'd like to just set the bed on here, just mock it up a little bit so you guys can see what it looks like, and I can see what it looks like. We're looking good back here. I welded the shock mount on the inside too, and I went and bought new shocks because the old shocks were pretty trash. They weren't recoiling at all, so we got brand new shocks sat down. I have a new hose. I know I had this one made, but it's not right, so I had another one. I bought another one from O'Reilly. This one's longer, and this is the original mount, but this is still too short to go here. So I think I'm going to take this bracket, move it to this one, and then we should be able to actually bolt it down, seal it up, and then bleed the brakes. I tightened everything up on the back. All the lines, all the fittings are tight. We bled them. Now we officially have brakes. We checked them, we jacked the truck up, and all the brakes are working. All right. Okay. All right. The bed is set on there. We have it set on jacks right there, but this is preliminary. But yeah, this is what it's going to look like. We're going to probably, well, first we have to get it mounted up and permanently secured, but what I'm going to do to get this to match is get some kind of maybe semi-gloss black. Well, I'd like to get some red to spray on first and then some semi-gloss black to spray over it and then sand it a little bit to try and mimic some of the patina on the truck itself. It'll look a lot better. It looks a lot more like a truck. Dad thinks it looks tough.
I like it.
Dad likes it.
I do. I like it.
Yeah, this is so much better.
Oh, here.
There you go.
Too high?
Set it down on the ground.
Or there?
Something like that. It'll be a little
higher.
Yeah, it'll be higher, but that's the idea. Put our stack right there.
Right about there.
Yeah, right about there.
Yeah, right about there. That's too short.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy with where we got this week on the Rio. Really needed a bed, really needed to get this thing sat on here, and that was my goal this week. But everything under here had to be done first. Had to get those disc brakes working and situated, the brake lines, the brake hoses, the T at the bottom, the shocks, the shock mounts, welding the perches for the leaf springs, the drive shaft, all the stuff that's going on back here had to be fixed because I didn't want to be working underneath it with a bed on it and all that stuff. So all that is good to go. Super happy with it. We could actually drive it if it had a cooling system. It's so close. I'm jonesing, man. I built this engine and transmission last year, dude. It's been 9-10 months since I built this engine and trans. I've never even driven it. But you could actually start it and put it in gear and the brakes would work. You just couldn't do it for more than 5 minutes because there's no radiator or nothing. But it's all there. It's all there. So if we could get this bed mounted and we could get the radiator sat in and a cooling system figured out, the truck would be drivable. Intercooler's in it, everything's all in it. Yeah, what a job shortening this frame. I don't want to do it again, but I had to do it once. I appreciate you guys watching these videos all the way through. Thank you for following this build, really. Thank you for keeping up with the Rio. Duct Tape Drags is in a month, about a month. Is it the 16th right now or something? 17th, yeah, Duct Tape Drags is in a month. This thing's got to be ready. We're coming down the home stretch. And next week, probably going to be working on it again because this just has to come first. You know, it's got to get done. If you want to support the channel in a more direct way, you can pick yourself up a really cool shirt at thetravisb.com. I'm wearing mine right now. Dad's got the Travis B red cap button up on. I got the 46 International tee on, and I also have a third Cummins design shirt.
You got more shirts coming in.
Yeah.
Large.
Yes. And I sold out of the large in this and the large in the Cummins Dependable Diesel, but I put another order of shirts in for the holiday season, which is upon us. It's coming up, and for Duct Tape Drags. So if you want to do an early shirt pickup for the holiday season, go ahead and pick one up or save on shipping and pick it up at the Duct Tape Drags. So yeah, all the shirt purchases mean a lot. If you've picked one up, thank you. If you're going to pick one up, appreciate you. And we'll see you very soon in the next video.